You know, it's New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is a time for reflection on the year that was, whether good or bad, wanting to continue things that you did or not, and what you want to change with a fresh start in the new year. It's a pretty interesting time. You know, a lot of people really value this time of year just for that sole fact of the calendar turning to another year, a chance to start anew. Well, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be trying to start anew. Can we leave the Chicago Blackhawks without Connor Bedard back in 2025? Because that is just a pitiful display, game in, game out. Like, oh my gosh. I can't wait until they get the one guy on their team that can actually play. Because holy cow, this team is lost. Well, that analogy probably made no sense whatsoever. Too late. Welcome back to another Hawks video. We're going to talk about the last 4 games or whatever. Hey, there was one great moment. One great moment. And then it was immediately tarnished and ruined the very next day. We'll get to that in just a second, but wow. This team is still incredibly lost. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that game against Philadelphia and Chicago. Really boring game. Really boring game. Didn't feel like much happened. Spencer Knight let up a pretty bad goal early and then was solid throughout the rest of the game. They let up a power play goal because Alex Vlasic isn't doing the correct thing defensively and trying to box out his defender. While boxing his defender out, he's able to get a stick on it, and it puts it by Spencer Knight. And then Ryan Donato with a nice shot. But that was it. And it was just, again, very poorly played by the Hawks at the end. They get a power play in the final 5 minutes. Wow, that's awesome. Can't do anything with it. Absolutely nothing. Like, how in the world are we still here after the embarrassment that happened in Toronto? They come back against Philadelphia with down a goal late, and they can't send anything towards the net. There are no good chances. Oh my gosh. And then immediately after the penalty is over, they send Spencer Knight to the bench, and not even 5 seconds after he's out of the net, it's in the back of the net, and the game is over. Another loss. Just wonderful. I would rather not talk more about that. Because what I do want to talk about is their next game. On the road, in Dallas, against the second place, not only in the Central, but in the entire league, Dallas Stars. Oh boy, this should be fun. And it actually kind of is. Alex Vlasic, with an all-seeing eye pass to Tyler Bertuzzi early in the first, wide open cage, Jake Ottinger just can't stop it. He has no chance. 1-0 Hawks. Hawks let up a goal from the blue line because Arvid Soderblom is Arvid Soderblom. That's another thing. The Hawks are coming into this game without Connor Bedard, without Frank Nazar, and they are starting their backup goaltender, Arvid Soderblom, on the road in Dallas on the front half of a back-to-back. They're up 1-0. They're tied 1-1 going into the second. Wow. All right. In the second, it's Jason Dickinson just skating through neutral ice across the blue line, rips one from the high slot, and it just beats Jake Ottinger. It just beats him. And the Hawks are up 2-1. Hawks let up a goal again. It's 2-2. All right, they're on the plus side of it back and forth. Go to the third. Please don't let them score and take the lead because that's where it's going to end. And Arvid Soderblom made a couple of big-time saves in the third period. Just robbed Mikko Rantanen one chance. Robbed Jamie Benn on a breakaway. Couple of really nice moments for the backup goaltender. Again, Soderblom can make big saves. But holy cow, does he let in a lot of softies. And then this defense doesn't help him out. After he has to make a couple nice saves in the middle stages of the third period, It's a bad turnover in the defensive zone. Mikko Rantanen has just blown a tire. He's back behind the goal line. Hawks are trying to push out. They turn the puck over, and guess what? Mikko Rantanen's in front of the net. He scores 3-2 Dallas, and that feels like the kill shot, even though it's just a one-goal game. But knowing the nature of these two teams, where they're at in the standings, where they're playing this game, who's in net on both sides, it feels like it's over. But, like literally just over a minute later, it is Tyler Bertuzzi who buries an equalizer after a shot doesn't get handled perfectly by Jake Ottinger, and he's actually a little far out of the crease. Tyler Bertuzzi's behind him, and guess what? Johnny on the spot, right place, right time, right on his stick, in the back of the net, and the game is tied, and we're going to freaking overtime. So I'm sitting there watching this thing like, hey, they get a point in this game. On the road, in Dallas, against a team that has just been steamrolling the league right now. They've got like all their starters in. They're playing their starting goaltender. You're playing a backup goalie. You're without your star. Like, I will 100% take this. If they let up a goal in like 30 seconds in overtime, point in the standings, that's huge against Dallas. But we go through overtime. Soderblom makes a nice save or two. Jake Ottinger makes a save or two. And we go to a shootout. And I'm like, great. Well, that sucks. It's over. Because if any of you all know what it's like to have Arvid Soderblom in net, you know he is garbage in the shootout. And I mean garbage. Not like he's given up 60%. I think he's giving up like 80% goals throughout his career in the shootout. Like, he is putrid one-on-one in these situations. Has been. And you want to see some growth, but all of a sudden you're in this situation, you're like, Arvid Soderblom versus Jake Ottinger. It's over. It's wraps. The Hawks have been terrible in extra time. They've like won, I think, one game that's gone past regulation. They ain't winning. First two shooters for Dallas. Both miss. Don't even get it on net. Robertson misses high and wide. Mikko Rantanen just lost the freaking puck. And then it's Ryan Donato who has the puck on his stick to try and give the Hawks a 1-0 lead in this shootout. And he makes a beautiful move. Waiting, the patience from Ryan Donato to not only go to the backhand, get Jake Ottinger on his chest, but he still has that glove out there, waits for it to come down to then roof it over him and give the Hawks a 1-0 lead in this shootout. All right, Arvid Soderblom, we need you to make one save in this shootout. The other two shots you haven't had to make a save. Make a save. Oh, of course he doesn't. What are you surprised? Arvid Soderblom lets it up. Then we can't score in the third round. I forget exactly. It was Burakovsky's shot. He can't score on Ottinger. We go to a fourth round. I'm like, there it is. There it is. Well, had a shot, but I'll take the loser point. But Arvid Soderblom said, not today. Makes a nice save with the blocker or the pad. I don't exactly remember which, but stuck with Johnston the entire way as he's cutting across the crease. Very nicely done. And it sets up the rookie, Nick Lardis, one of the Hawks' top prospects, playing in just his 6th NHL game against Jake Ottinger, with a chance to give the Hawks an improbable win in the shootout on the road in Dallas. Nick Lardis wastes no time. He just charges right in, guns a-blazing, and he beats Jake Ottinger to give the Hawks an improbable 4-3 win in the shootout. Oh my gosh. They actually won a game past regulation, and they did it on the road against one of the best teams in the NHL. Down their top player, arguably top two players, not down their starting goaltender, but they didn't start their goaltender. They started their backup goaltender, and they won. I mean, that is a statement win for Chicago. And that one gives you hope going forward that this team, when they play up the potential and play together as a team, can hang with some of the best teams in the league. It's not going to happen every time because they just straight up don't have the talent to match with Dallas on a game-to-game basis or in a 7-game playoff series. That ain't happening. But on this night in December in 2025, the Blackhawks got the better of the Dallas Stars. And while it worked out, funnily enough, I was surprised to see Soderblom starting on the front half of the back-to-back on the road against the tougher team. Because Hawks get the Pittsburgh Penguins on the back-to-back at home, which the Penguins aren't as good as the Stars by a landslide. You got to go on the road to Dallas, too. Surprised Spencer Knight didn't start in this game. Obviously, it didn't matter because Arvid Soderblom came through big to help this team win. And so now they get Spencer Knight to play at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Both teams have been struggling this year. The Penguins feel like they're a truly bad team for the first time in like 2 decades. So here's your chance, Hawks. If you go 2 for 2 on the back-to-back, you feel pretty good going into the new year. And they're dead. Oh my God! The house isn't just on fire. They started it and made sure the whole thing went up in flames because that was just a complete flame out. Are you serious? A day after a potentially season-saving win to try and build some confidence to stay afloat in the playoff race before you get Connor Bedard back, which, again, we still don't know when he's coming back. They're going to try and get him back in January, but they might sit him until through the Olympics. He might not come back till February. So you're trying to stay afloat. You just beat the Dallas Stars. And what did you just do? What was that? It's not even like halfway through the first period, and you're down 4-0 to the Penguins at home with your starting goaltender. How embarrassing, dude. What the hell? And maybe you're thinking that this team is starting to trend up a little bit. They just beat the Dallas Stars in Dallas. Maybe that's a nice moral victory. Inspires the team to play better as you head into 2026. Nope. Nope. This is a comeback to reality game. Because maybe you were thinking, oh, maybe they're starting to put some things together and they can continue to be competitive. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wow! Wow! I am just stunned with how embarrassing that was. And so the Hawks remind everyone why they're in the basement after that game. You know, there's a reason why they're stuck in the basement. You know, you think after they beat Dallas, you're like, oh, maybe they're not as bad as we think. They can find a way to hang with some of the good teams. Nope. They just got absolutely mollywopped by one of the worst teams in the standings at home. Oh my God. Jeez. How embarrassing is that? How embarrassing was that? And it just kills all the momentum that you think the Hawks were starting to build after beating Dallas. Just kills it. I don't care if they scored 3 goals. They let up 4 before even scoring 1. The rest of the game does not matter at that point. They let up 7. Soderblom came in after Spencer Knight led in the 4th one. You had to pull your goaltender in the first period for a backup who had just beaten the Dallas Stars on the road the day before. 24 hours prior, you have him playing again the next night. Because your starting goaltender can't make a save. This team can't get Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar back fast enough because they just look like a deer in headlights anytime a team shows resistance this year. Like, without them. It's really sad. And so that puts a sour taste in your mouth, and now you're just back to the trash back to the basement, to the cellar, whatever you want to call it, going into 2026. And then we get to the most recent Hawks game against the New York Islanders at home. Yeah, they should have gotten this one. They really should have. They let up 2 goals in the first period, man. Bad start. They've had a lot of bad starts this year. This is another bad one. Kaiser can't clear the zone 3 minutes in. Isles have numbers, and they're able to feed it over to Ritchie, who puts it by Spencer Knight with a great shooting lane. Like, he's pretty much by himself. And then the Isles get on the power play a little bit later in the period. All right, took a penalty. Why is Bo Horvat that wide open? Why? Ryan Green is not paying attention to Bo Horvat, and neither is Connor Murphy, the defender. And, come on! Bo Horvat is just sitting there for about 3 seconds before he actually gets the puck, and it's a one-timer that beats Spencer Knight. You cannot give these guys in the NHL those good of shooting lanes. You cannot give them that good of a shooting lane. That is unreal. Terrible defense in the first period from the Blackhawks, and it should have been worse. The Isles did a couple posts early in this one, and towards the end of the game, it was all Hawks hitting the post. The Hawks could not stop hitting the goalpost in this game. It was unbelievable. This game could have very easily been like 5-4, but because both teams were allergic to hitting the back of the net and were just attracted to hitting the metal goalposts, this game was pretty low scoring. But hey, while the Isles found 2 goals early, the Hawks found 2 goals in the second. Nice passing play. Artem Levshinov to Oliver Moore. A little nice backhander to Teuvo Teravainen's able to beat David Riddick. 2-1. Okay. Hawks get on the power play before the end of the period. Time's winding down. Oh no, they're not going to get the shot off. I mean, if you've watched the Hawks in the last couple of weeks, you know they're not getting a shot off here because they just can't shoot the puck in a timely fashion. But not this time. It's Oliver Moore with the one extra pass that, I'm okay with, because Nick Lardis with a rocket as he's open, able to beat Riddick on his knees, puts the arms up in the air in celebration. The Hawks tie it before the end of the second. Love to see Nick Lardis back on the scoreboard. His first goal at home in the United Center in Chicago. Good for him. Both teams, again, I already mentioned it. Post was the MVP. The goal post was the MVP in this game. Both teams could not stop hitting the goal post in this game. And the Hawks hit a couple of goal posts in the third period. They should have won this game in the third period. Now, the Hawks had a long shot from nearly the blue line that hit the post. And yeah, that happens every now and then. You're looking for a redirect, don't get it, or you do get it, and it hits the post. Fine, right? That happens. But at the very end, literally 5 seconds before going to overtime, David Riddick is way out of his net. He's now completely out of the crease. The puck goes behind him, and it hits the stick of the captain, Nick Foligno, who scored his first goal of the season in their game against the Penguins. Puck's on his stick. Open net. Chance to win the game. Hits the post. Again. And we go to overtime. The fans in the United Center couldn't believe it. The team couldn't believe it. And guess what? It's the Hawks past regulation. They bucked the trend in Dallas. Back to the standard here against the Isles. Can't do anything in overtime. And in a shootout, Spencer Knight makes a nice save. Can't, stop Bo Horvat again. He beats him. And then Ryan Donato trying the same patience as he did against Dallas. Riddick's not having any of it. Donato has no lane to shoot from. Game's over. Isles escape with the win. Oh my gosh, they lost again. And they were that close. They were that close to coming back from 2-0 down and winning in regulation. That would have been so nice. But instead, they have to settle for the loser point because they can't win in overtime or a shootout. I know that they beat Dallas, and that was great. That was awesome. That is the exception. That is the exception. The standard is maybe force it to overtime and the team can't win past regulation. That's just how it is right now. And it's really frustrating. So the Blackhawks have played nearly half of their games. They've played 39. They are 14, 18, and 7. They have 35 points, which is 1 point ahead of the team that's in last place, which, weirdly enough, is the Winnipeg Jets, the President's Trophy winner last year. They're in last place in the entire league. Granted, it's by a point. The Hawks and the Canucks are right on their tail, but really, the Jets, they won the President's Trophy. They probably their signature moment as a franchise since coming back to Winnipeg, and they're going to follow that up with being last in the league? Huh? So yeah, while the year started well for the Blackhawks, they're going to end 2025 in the basement yet again. Not even just the basement, bottom 3 yet again. That first month was really nice, wasn't it? When they weren't already eliminated from playoff contention and they were actually just hovering around the wild card, and it was fun to just enjoy the Hawks without them being just god-awful. Yeah, those days are over. They are back to being terrible. And they're probably going to be terrible for the next month because Connor Bedard's out for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play until after the All-Star break. Or the Olympics break this year. And well, funnily enough, the first game of the new year for the Chicago Blackhawks is on New Year's Day. It's the Dallas Stars at home. Team they just beat. They get to play them again. If they win another game against the Dallas Stars and take 2 against them, you know, that I will definitely consider that a win. They got to go play on the road at Washington, and they return home to play the Vegas Golden Knights. That's their schedule for the next week and the first week of 2026. So despite missing the second half of December, Connor Bedard still leads the team in points by 15 and is still tied for the team league in goals. Tyler Bertuzzi has 19 goals, and Connor Bedard has 44 points. Tyler Bertuzzi has just 29. How does that happen? Where a guy has missed now a half month, and he's still the team leader in points by 15 points. Shows that the Hawks, yet again, need some better depth. I like what I see from some of the young prospects, and they just need some playing time to develop. I trust in the fact that Oliver Moore, Nick Lardis, Alex Vlasic can be solid pieces for this team. But obviously, they're not producing right now, and I'm not going to get on them too much because guess what? They're young, and who knows? A guy like Lardis might go back down to the Ice Hogs when they're back healthy. Anyways, I'm done. Thank you very much for a fantastic 2025. It's been a long year, you know, starting with a stunning Bears win against the Packers in Lambeau to finish what was a terrible season. Couple of Bears videos coming after the season. Doing some Cubs content for the first time on this channel. Bringing back some Hawks videos, albeit not every single game. But I kind of like doing this. It's much easier for me to get these out in a timely fashion because I just did not do that when I was trying to make videos after every single game. So the amount of content I was able to do this year, I'm very happy about it, and especially because I was doing it on a timely basis. It didn't feel like I was getting behind on anything. If I needed to make a video, I was able to get it done, and if it was a little late, it was a little late, but it wasn't anything ridiculous. So I think I'm proud of myself for what I was able to put out for you guys, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed the content this year. And I hope you guys enjoy the content coming up in 2026, whatever it holds for me. And I hope whatever 2026 holds for you or your friends, your family, is also very good and brings you a lot of happiness. Anyways, that's it. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button if you really liked it and want to see more content from me. Keep the conversation going down in the comment section below. What was your favorite moment on this channel in 2025? And how do you feel about the Hawks, since it's a Hawks-related video? And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful new year, everyone. Take care.